What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about working with what we got, and that's with metabolism and time. So as many of you guys know, each individual will have a different metabolism. I know there are a lot of people that always says that, as you get older, your metabolism will slow down. However, to each individual, their metabolism and their caloric maintenance will be different. What do I mean different is that it's different not due to by age, but also by how much food they eat on a regular basis. So our bodies are very smart, so it takes a lot of time for the body to really adapt to a maintenance. So for example, if you diet for like 3 days, your body's not gonna automatically go into a deficit. Like, yes, you'll eat lower calories, but it'll take a longer period of time for that deficit to really kick in and for your body to really change. I mean, if you just start your diet for 3 days in a row, you might mentally feel better, as in like, oh, I feel lighter, or you might lose some water weight, or however, it's not true body comp that you're losing. You're just losing water weight and all the extra bloat that you have from your daily eating or whatever. So many of you guys will see this whenever you eat out at night, or when you go to any social gathering and you just kind of eat casually, your weight might spike up. And again, that's also not your true weight. That's more of a spike, just the water bloat and water retention. So don't freak out with that. Also with time, I can't stress this enough, because especially a lot of the younger guys, everybody wants to step on stage, everybody wants to be lean, everybody wants to be shredded with muscles. However, in order to have some muscles when you're lean, you gotta have some muscles underneath while you're bulking. You can't retain muscles if you don't have any muscles. Sometime I noticed, like, a lot of people, they, first time they started working out, there are some individuals that gain muscles very quickly. Strict structure routine, a great diet plan, making sure they're in a surplus, making sure they're resting, making sure they're training right. You will build a significant amount of muscles, especially for beginners. However, there are some other individuals where it takes them longer to learn the movement, and longer time to adapt to a diet, which is also fine, because everybody's learning curve is different, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, it's very important for the person itself to be aware of these differences, meaning that just because there's someone that gains muscles within a year does not mean that you're going to gain the same rate, or it doesn't mean you're going to lose the same rate as the individual within the same year, because this comes in with a different work ethic, how structured things are, how consistent things are. So for example, there are guys that can diet for 9 weeks and they'll be super shredded, and vice versa. There are guys that diet for 9 weeks and they can only lose maybe 3-4 pounds because of their inconsistency. So this is why it's always good to allow yourself extra time to diet, because you want to set yourself up time to grow and time to diet. Many people want to rush the process. They'll bulk for maybe 4 weeks. They'll kind of get as big as they can, aka put on as much weight on the scale, and then when they start cutting, they'll start slashing the carbs up super fast, because they think the more aggressive things are, the quicker they'll get leaner. However, that's just kind of setting yourself up for a more tougher journey, because for a person that eats a massive amount of calories, if you're going to switch and transition into a time period where you're eating this much, eventually you're going to get hungry, eventually you're going to get burnt out, eventually you're going to break down, and that's the normal things that come with dieting, because towards the midway it becomes a mental game. It's like bulking. When you're shredded and you start bulking, you start feeling like fat, and then you get scared and you're like, let me start cutting again. Or vice versa, when you're cutting, you feel smaller after 2 days because you're losing the water weight and the bloat. So everyone will try to get back on the bulk. The beautiful thing is allow time for yourself to be in a surplus. And when I say time, I don't mean like 2 months, 3 months, because there's only so much your body can grow in that time, because as I mentioned before, your body must adapt to the surplus. It's not just like, okay, he's eating 3,000 calories, let me just start building muscles right now. No, it takes time to build muscles naturally. Same thing for you when you're losing weight. You want to go at a slower pace just to retain as much as you can during this cut. I do know some people prefer a shorter cut, a shorter prep. They don't mind going aggressive for 12 weeks or even 9 weeks, and there's no Honestly, I don't feel like there's any right or wrong. I only think about preference, and some people might feel that they can grind out harder for a shorter amount of time than to really pace themselves, like spread their time longer, and vice versa. There are some people that, like myself, I prefer a longer prep, so that way when I don't feel as taxed as fast. I mean, don't get me wrong, towards the end you're gonna feel like dog crap, and it's part of the journey. I've never seen anybody that feels great 24/7 when they're prepping, because at the end of the day, your body's gonna be so taxed out mentally. You're gonna be hungry, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be cold, and it's just what it takes to bring it to the next level. So I think for each individual's, whenever you're thinking about putting on muscle mass or cutting for the summer, just be honest with yourself. Look at yourself in the body and don't focus on how long it took other people to get there. Look at your body comp and see how long you think you might take to be really consistent too. Like, I'm not talking about like I'll diet for 12 weeks but for the first 5 weeks, I'm not going 100%. Be honest with yourself. Like, if you know that there's going to be some like parties along the way that you might eat out or you might fall off, allow yourself more time. So think, for example, if I need 20 weeks prep for a show and I know that I might not make it in time, or depending on how heavy I am, I might make that 20 weeks into 25 weeks or 25 weeks into 27 weeks, depending on how I look. So each time you start this process, you have to kind of examine your body just to see where you're at, the starting point, and think where the end game wants to be. So some people prefer diet breaks in between, which I do recommend, because eventually people get taxed out and their body becomes very stagnant, and in order to push through that plateau, you're gonna have to become more aggressive. And some people might not like that, so they might just kind of give themselves a little diet break to kind of recuperate and then get right back into the prep. So time, one thing, and the most important thing I would recommend. And 2, consistency. And 3, just really understand your body, because everybody has different weak points, everybody has different strong points, and everybody has different laggy parts. So for example, I love working out chest, but my chest is just weak, and it's just something genetically I can't change. I can improve it, but it'll always be one of my laggier parts. So just be honest with yourself, and don't compare yourself to a lot of people that you see at the gym or on social media, because it's only gonna hinder your mindset, and it's gonna make it harder for yourself when you see yourself getting leaner and not looking like that person that you wanted to look like. So just remember, this is always gonna be you versus you, meaning that you want to look the best that you can look. That's it for this week's episode. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.